Let me tell you something that most people never realize. Your blood sugar doesn't rise only because of what you eat. Sometimes it rises because of what you feel and how you sleep. You can eat the cleanest food, walk after every meal, even take all the supplements. But if your sleep is poor and your stress is high, your glucose will stay unstable. That's because your body does not separate emotions from metabolism. It's one single connected system. Your sleep, your stress, your glucose constantly talk to each other. And today, we are going to explore that invisible trio, how they affect one another, and how to bring them back into the rhythm. Welcome to Levels in Check. This is Ray, and we have talked about food, movement, and all kind of other hacks before. But today's episode is a little bit more inward. It's about what happens when you are not eating. Because even if you eat right, if your sleep is chaotic or your stress levels are constantly high, your blood sugar level will swing like a pendulum. So let's slow this one down and talk about the deeper stuff: sleep, stress, glucose, the invisible trio that quietly decides how you feel every single day. How your sleep affects blood sugar. You know that groggy, foggy feeling after a bad night's sleep? That's not just fatigue, it's psychology. When you sleep poorly, even for one night, your body becomes more insulin resistant the next day. It's like cells stop listening properly. So, when you eat breakfast, instead of your body using the food efficiently, it ends up with a higher glucose spike than usual. In fact, the study shows that 4 to 5 hours of sleep can make a healthy person's blood sugar level look like a pre diabetic the next morning. That's how powerful the sleep is. So, what's happening inside? When you sleep, your body resets the hormonal rhythm. Insulin sensitivity improves, cholesterol, the stress hormone, goes down, appetite hormones are rebalanced. But when you don't sleep, these go haywire. You crave more carbs and sugar, your insulin becomes less effective, and your energy crashes faster. So, poor sleep equals to insulin resistance, equals to unstable glucose, equals to more craving, equals to worst sleep. That is a loop. So, how stress impacts your glucose? This one is a sneaky one. You might think, I'm not stressed, I am just busy. But your body doesn't know the difference between a stress from a tiger and a stress from a deadline. When you are stressed, emotionally, mentally, or physically, your brain releases cortisol and adrenal. These hormones tell your liver, release the glucose. We might need energy to fight or run. And boom, your blood sugar rises, even if you haven't eaten anything. That's why sometimes the CGM graph shows random spike even when you haven't had a food. That's a stress glucose, the invisible loop between sleep, stress, and glucose. Now, here is where it gets interesting. They all feed into each other. Poor sleep increases stress hormones, high stress increases glucose, and high glucose disrupts sleep. It's like a triangle that keeps itself alive. So, you might think your sugar issues are food related, but maybe it's just stress or lack of deep sleep. Let's be honest, our lifestyle feeds into this trio daily. We stay up late, scrolling reels or working. We wake up early for work, cutting sleep short. We drink chai, coffee first thing, spiking cortisol further. We deal with constant traffic, deadlines, and digital overload. By evening, we are wired but exhausted. So we reach for sugar, carbs, or comfort food that feels better. But the sugar surge leads to crash, irritability, and more stress. This is how the trio silently traps us every day, every week, year after year. So, how to break the cycle? The LIC way. You can't eliminate stress, but you can build rhythm around it. Here is how to balance all three gently and sustainably. Respect your sleeping window. Try to sleep around the same time every night. Even 6 to 8 hours of consistent sleep can improve insulin sensitivity. Dim lights after dinner. Avoid screen 30 minutes before the bed. Magnesium, warm showers, and chamomile tea can help us unwind. Move your body to manage stress. Exercise is not punishment, it's a therapy. When you move, your body burns glucose and reduces cortisol. Even simple morning walk, yoga stretches after work, few push ups and squats when you are anxious. Think of it as letting stress leave your body physically. Now, be careful with caffeine. Coffee, chai, first thing in the morning, especially on the empty stomach, spikes cortisol, not energy. Try having it after breakfast or switch it to lemon water or herbal tea early on. Create mini rest gaps between meetings, between tasks. Pause for 2 minutes, take a deep breath, step away from the screen. These micro pauses train your body to come back to the baseline. Manage evening glucose for better sleep. If your dinner is heavy with carbs dominant, your blood sugar level stays higher into the night. And guess what? High glucose means poor sleep. Walk for 10 to 15 minutes after dinner. Add dahi, vinegar, veggies to your meal. Keep dinner lighter and early if possible. Now let's talk about mornings. Morning sunlight equal to night sleep. The more sunlight exposure you get early in the day, the better your body produces melatonin at night. This directly improves sleep quality and glucose rhythm. Now let's understand emotional stress. Sometimes stress isn't about work or deadline, it's emotional, and that's okay. When you suppress emotions, anger, grief, anxiety, your body stays in a low level fight or flight mode. You can't think your way out of it. So it's okay to slow down, to feel, to journal, to talk. Because calming your nervous system is a part of glucose control too. That's why practice like meditation, breathwork, or prayer actually shows measurable drop in glucose on CGMs. It's not a spiritual magic, it's a hormonal balance. The feedback loop of balance. When you sleep better, your stress drops. When your stress drops, your glucose becomes stable. When your glucose stabilizes, your mood improves. And that leads to better sleep again. And that's what I called rhythm for regulation. This is the invisible trio, the connection between your nervous system and your metabolism. Let's say you had a long day. You skipped breakfast, eat lunch at your desk, drank 3 cups of chai, fought through traffic, and then had dinner at 10 pm. That night, your CGM shows random spike. Even though you didn't eat sugar, that's stress, that's adrenal. And when you finally sleep, it's shallow. You wake up tired, crave something sweet, and the cycle repeats. Now imagine the opposite. You sleep well. You had a savory, protein rich breakfast, took a short walk after lunch, and had a calm dinner. Next morning, you feel lighter, calm, more focused. Your glucose curve look like a calm river instead of a mountain range. Same person, different rhythm. So here is the takeaway. Stress, sleep, glucose, they are not separate things. They are three strings of the same instrument. When one is out of tune, the whole system sounds off. Fix your sleep, manage your stress, and your glucose will follow naturally. And remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about coming back to rhythm. Your body knows how to heal. You just have to give it space. Thank you for listening to Levels in Check. I am Ray. And if this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who is constantly tired or anxious. Not because of sugar, but because their life's rhythm has gone offbeat.